There we go. All right. Welcome. This is the February meeting of the Northborough Conservation Commission. My name is Greg Young. I'm the chair of the commission. And this open meeting of the Northborough Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, signed into law on July 16th, 2022. All members of the Northborough Conservation Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The act allows Northborough Conservation Commission to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Dan Clark.
Here.
Tom Beals.
Here.
Todd Helwig.
Here.
And I'm very good. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Vinnie Vignali.
Here.
Owen Jones.
Here.
Very good, thank you. All right. Some ground rules for presenters and or applicants listed on the agenda. The chair will invite each speaker or applicant on the agenda by name to make a presentation and speak to their application. Participants will provide their full name and hold until the name is called. Each speaker will be asked to mute their phone or computer when not speaking and to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate meeting minutes. Those responding will be asked to wait until the floor is yielded to them by the chair. Speakers who wish to respond to the comments of others do so through the chair, taking care to identify themselves. Each vote taken by the commission will be conducted by roll call vote. After members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. By phone, dial *9 to raise your hand and wait to be recognized. Please note that part of your phone number will be visible to those viewing the meeting. By Zoom, click raise hand on the bottom of your screen and wait to be recognized. The chair will ask members of the public who wish to speak to identify their names and addresses only. Once the chair has a list of all public commentators, the chair will call each by name and afford 3 minutes for any comments. Todd, if you're ready, go ahead.
All right. The meeting will include the following hearings pursuant to MGL Chapter 131, Section 40, the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, the Northborough Wetlands Protection Bylaw, and the Northborough Stormwater Management and Land Disturbance Bylaw. Notice of intent and application for a stormwater management and land disturbance permit for Lot 1, Buena Vista Drive, aka Buena Vista Street, map 64, parcel 2, and map 73, parcels 32 and 33, seeking to alter greater than 1 acre of land to construct a new single-family home and septic system with associated site work. Number 2, notice of intent and application for a stormwater management and land disturbance permit for Lot 2, Buena Vista Drive, aka Buena Vista Street, map 64, parcel 2, and map 73, parcel 32 and 33, seeking to alter greater than 1 acre of land to construct a new duplex or a single-family home and septic system with associated site work.
Good, Todd, thank you. Okay, let's see what we have here. But first order of business is let's take a look at the January meeting minutes. Anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns with those meeting minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Second by Dan. Roll call vote. Todd Helwig.
Aye.
Dan Clark.
Yes.
Yeah, Tom Beals.
Yes.
I vote yes. Minutes are approved. Okay, public hearings. We have. Vinny, did you get hold of Kelly?
Yes, Kelly's not going to make it.
Not gonna make it, okay. So we might as well go ahead in order here and then move to our informal discussions and COCs afterwards, eh?
Okay.
Buena Vista, Buena Vista Street, lots 1 and 2. I believe that is
Vito is probably.
Vito. Okay, there's Vito. Promote the panelist. Mr. Colonna, how are you?
Good, good. How's everyone doing?
We are pretty well, thank you. Pretty well.
Okay. The only other person would be, I think it's Ron. Ron Heckman is the applicant. I think he's in there just as listed as Ron.
I got him.
List.
Ron Heckman is coming in. Somewhere.
I can see him. He's getting there.
Okay.
What do you see? I don't see him.
He hasn't got his video going. He's on mute, and I can see a square with Ron in it.
Yeah, at least he's there.
You want to unmute? Let us know you can hear us.
Well, I can start without him, and hopefully he just joins in as we go.
Okay.
Rather than, I don't want to delay anything.
Vito, you know ahead of time, we have a lot of interest here. So we have a lot of attendees here that will have questions or comments, I'm sure. So
Yep.
let's start. Let's start with what the plan is here and what's going on Buena Vista.
Okay. So I'm Vito Colonna with Cornerstone Engineering. And then Ron Heckman's the applicant. And he is here, but hopefully he joins us later. Maybe having technical difficulties over there. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so right now there's 2 parcels of land, 2 lots over off of Buena Vista. It was formerly known as School Street, right out here. It was formerly 70 School, but now there's an existing house right in here that actually has a driveway access off Buena Vista. It looks as if the driveway access years back used to come off of School Street right here. There's an old pathway that goes through there. But currently there's a single family house with a driveway access off Buena Vista Drive. These 2 lots were created in November of last year of 22 to divide them into 2 lots. The total lot area is 2.77 acres. One lot is 1.4 and one's 1.3 acres. Switch over to the site plan. So this is rotated from the last view just so we could fit it on one sheet. But essentially, like I said, it's about a 2.7 acre parcel. Just the front part is developed with that existing house. We also have wetlands down here right along Buena Vista, right here on this side. And there's also a wetland across the street down in here. Those are delineated by Goddard Consulting last year or the last fall. And we located those by survey. So those are both regulated wetlands. This one over here eventually drains into the street drainage system. There's a culvert right here. So this wetland eventually goes into the street drainage system, across the road into a drainage ditch, and then it goes under School Street and eventually makes its way after a while down to the Assabet River. So both of these are BVWs. The 100-foot buffer zone extends up here and over in here. The existing site, so just as far as regulatory, I forgot to go over that regulatory requirements. So each lot, the disturbance is less than 1 acre, but combined, since it's one developer, so it's one common land, the total disturbance was over 1 acre. So that's what triggered the land disturbance permit. If looked at individually, the land disturbance permit wouldn't be required. Combined, they are over that acre. So Just trying to remember where I left off here. So we are looking at 2 individual lots. Right now, is no drainage out there. All the drainage sheet flows. Most of it goes onto Buena Vista Drive or to this wetland. And there's also a swale over in this lower corner that drains across the abutter into a drainage inlet on the side of the road that goes into the drainage system and discharges across the street. And so it's really just those 2 drainage patterns, either to this wetland up in here in this drainage system or to the lower drainage system. So right now what we're proposing is 2 lots. This would be a single family house on lot 1. And this lot what they're planning on is a duplex right now, but additional permitting would be required for that. So that's why we left it off as it could be a duplex or a single, but the plan is for a duplex. But that does require planning board approval. So there's another process to go through after that.
Yeah, have you gone to the planning board yet or not?
Nope, this was going to be the first stop. The intent is you actually wanted to start on lot 1 first, and this would be at a later date. But because they were sort of intertwined, we didn't want to just come in with just one lot. We wanted to show both lots of what the full intent would be. But he really just intends to do lot 1 to start and then go through permitting later for lot 2. But the way they're connected, we really wanted to show everything he was thinking of doing. So this is a single family house down here and the potential duplex up here, both with driveway access off Buena Vista Drive. We had septics. We have testing with Board of Health, septic location behind the house here and in front of the house on this one. Both of those showed good sandy material. It's really well drained, mostly sand and gravels. This one had good depth to groundwater, about 10 feet to depth. In this one, where it's in a lower area, there was groundwater I think it was about 40 inches down on this one. As you move down towards the lower portion of the site, though, groundwater does get very shallow. I did some hand test pits down in the bottom here, and I had groundwater less than a foot down in this lower corner down in here. So the groundwater is basically on a plane, whereas you get in the upper parts of the site, you have much more separation. Down to lower, you have less. So the stormwater plan right now is to infiltrate both of the roofs through the 100-year storm event. So we have these dry wells positioned on both lots. And then as for the site drainage, we've proposed 2 rain gardens, 1 on each lot, 1 here and 1 down in here. And those would catch a majority of the driveway areas. The only areas we couldn't catch would be these lower tails right down and about here and right down in there. And that was just because of the site topography and depth to groundwater. The rain gardens we want to keep up 2 feet above groundwater to provide infiltration. So it gets difficult to put something that low elevation wise in relation to groundwater. But both of these were both sized to fully infiltrate a 100-year storm. So everything from the driveway would run down the swale into the rain garden for infiltration. And then same with this one, where it's positioned below the driveway, everything would sheet flow in and fully infiltrate through a 100-year storm. And then during construction, what we've looked at for erosion controls, basically everything is sloped down in this direction. So even up along this property line here, it's sloped into the property. There's a steep grade break right here where this slopes down into these properties where they're much lower than the site. But there's a grade break in right along this line where this actually drains into the site. So we provide erosion controls around the perimeter down the bottom. And then these could be used as temporary basins until such time that everything's stabilized, you clean them out, and then commission them at that point. Let's see, as far as land clearing goes, we've shown the limit of work that runs right around through here. I know there's been much discussion on potentially preserving some additional vegetation. That was a lot of the focus on the comments from Mr. Vignali and also many of the abutters. So some of the things we're going to look at as we move forward. The intent here was just to kind of present the project, take comments from the commission, and any additional comments that we haven't yet received from abutters. and then come back with you or with plan revisions to hopefully address those comments. I can hand that back over now, and we can get to some of the comments from the butters or the commission.
Super. You may want to leave, you may want to, well, then you can pop this up too later on, right? The same
Mhm.
schematic here.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Vito. So Vito, you said you have been to the Board of Health or not?
We did testing with the Board of Health,
Okay,
but we didn't. I don't think we've gotten our septic plan approvals yet.
so you're gonna need a continuance, obviously.
Yep. Yeah, we intended fully continue. We have a lot of comments to address from the abutters and also Vinny that we have still to address. So
Yeah, and we have no
your comments
DP number
too.
yet.
Yep, do it all at once. So
So, okay, fine. So can we pop up the site plan again there?
yep.
I know that Vinny and I walked the site last week. I think Dan, you walked the site too just recently, right?
Yesterday, yep.
So we got a good idea what's going on. So we're looking at two items here, right? We've got the wetlands protection items in the order of condition, and then we got the stormwater management and land disturbance permit. From the wetlands side, the wetlands here on the bottom of lot 1 are very, very minimal, right? I mean, in terms of it's all very little within the 100 here. So it's,
Yeah, the 100-foot buffer is right through here in that corner, and then it clips this corner right here.
then we have that the buffer on 1 also has a street there between the two. So sort of.
Yep.
Okay, and then on the top one here on lot 2, how far were you away? 25. So there's nothing going on. No construction, no building inside the 25, right?
Right.
Okay.
The existing water line
Yep.
runs through that. That's the only item that we're unsure if we can reuse that line. So if that were not able to be reused, they'd probably tap a new one further down. They would have to dig out in the street to shut that off, which would be in the 25, but it would be in the street. And then they'd also have to pull the service box out. But that pulling the service box isn't much. They just actually pull it right out. But the land disturbance would be out in the street, but it would be in the 25.
So not a lot of wetland issues here. Okay. I know when Vinny and I were out there, we talked about a lot 2, behind the septic system here.
Mhm.
There was some discussion about could we somehow reduce some of that cutting back that leaves some of the vegetation behind there. I think the initial plan was to do more cutting than we thought was necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's one of the things we're going to look at is trying to reduce some of that. The intent, I know when you were out there, you probably saw how this looks like it was some point in time it was gravelled out. You can see that earth cut when you were out there. So the intent was he was going to try to take some earth from here and balance it between the lots. So that was kind of why the extent of the clearing was so far out. But we'll look at with the applicant if we can try to pull that in, save some of the vegetation out here.
Vinny, procedural question here for you. So we've got 2 separate filings here, right? With 2 DEP numbers.
Yes,
And so we'll be looking to grant 2 different orders of condition for lot 1 and lot 2, but a single land disturbance permit for the combination, correct?
no, they asked for having separate for each so that they can develop and transfer the properties with their own separate order of conditions and their own separate stormwater permit.
We do that with a stormwater permit, given the fact that it took the combination of the 2 lots to trigger it?
Yes, because if let's say he had sold one of the lots to one person and that person wanted to build now, and then 2 years down the road, someone else wanted to build on the other lot, they would still be triggered, and we wouldn't want to hold up the first lot to do the second. It's
Good,
just
thank
more
you.
paperwork for me. They don't worry about that.
Okay, any questions from the commission?
I'm just curious. I don't see it on here, just so I can visualize, where is the existing house in relation to all this?
It might be tough to see. It's screened in the background. It's right.
Oh,
in
it
here.
is. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the driveway that comes up. It's kind of like a T.
Yep.
And that house is right in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So the existing limit of clearing right now kind of runs right through here. Kind of right up, follow my cursor. It's tough to see the tree line on this plan, but it's right through there.
Any other questions? Vinny, we were out there walking, I'm not Vinny, Vito,
Yep.
the limit of work here for lot 1 on the southern side there, the property line, is that, there's a ridge, is it along the ridge, the property line, or where is that exactly?
Yeah, the ridge is essentially where the property line is. It kind of coincides with that limit of clearing. Right now, the tree line runs right here, and then it comes out a little bit, but it generally runs the property line. Is where that limit is the tree line.
Let's see, if there's no other questions from the commission, let me see what we have here in public. We have a bunch of folks here. Anybody, if you want to speak, please get your hand up through the Zoom pieces. Okay, I see a hand up. Marie Ann, hope I pronounced it correctly, Faisler. I will bring you in as a panelist. Yes, there you are. You're muted.
Hi,
And how do you pronounce your last name?
Chrysler. It's
Feisler.
we
Okay,
can
all right. So I
pronounce
didn't do
it
too
anyway.
badly.
I didn't want to be the first one. I was hoping somebody else would talk first. So we live at 26 Greenland Circle, which is at the end. Everybody is looking at the lot line and the limit of work line, as well as the tree line. And there was a concern of one homeowner having his tree cut because the limit of work was outside on this plan, outside of the tree line. However, they went to look at the site and they said, no, the lot line is behind the trees. And then we said, well, then the map is maybe not accurate at that particular spot because the tree line was clearly inside the limit of work. And I think some people start to be a little nervous, like how many trees is the map accurate with what will be done? Or people come home from work and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I was going by the map. I didn't know I was not supposed to cut those trees.
Are you referring to, I know that one of the notes that I read was from Tom Estelle. He has like 5 trees specifically he was hoping to keep. Is that who you're referring to?
Yeah, I was referring just in general because that seems to be a discrepancy between the reality where the lot line is on the ground and the map. Then I think other people may wonder, are there other discrepancies?
Vito, I mean, this has been surveyed, I presume, right?
Yeah, we surveyed this, and it was actually very well documented, this subdivision when it was, when put in, when they built it, the records and everything are really good, and we found monuments all over the place. So we're very confident in the lines that are shown. We found monuments, right along this rear line, right along the rail line, all along the street. And they all match up with all the deeds and plans of record. So the lot lines shown, we're extremely confident where they are.
So then those trees will be cut.
I'm just not sure exactly which trees are being referred to. There are some spots where some of the abutters, like
In the
this lot
corner,
down here, cleared
The
over
first lot in the corner, if you can enlarge it.
down in this one.
You
No,
talking the left, the right
No,
corner,
no,
the right,
the other towards
Oh,
Buena
right.
Vista.
This one down. Whoops, sorry.
that's not where the wetlands are. Okay.
This one right here.
Yeah, if you can enlarge that.
Yeah. So yeah, the property line here basically coincides with that tree line right now.
But if you go towards the corner, I can't point with my, if you take a turn there by the corner, you see that tree line is clearly inside.
Yep. Yeah. Up in here. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
Yeah. So
then-
that's on the applicant's property. Yes.
so the homeowner was told his tree will be okay.
Okay.
Well, I
not
think
sure
there's,
which
to
tree,
help
whether-
them out, there's a concrete bound about what does it look like? 15 feet off the pavement. Your
Mhm.
pointer's right at it. That's a concrete bound that should be visible, and that marks the corner. So if the homeowner goes out and looks at that concrete bound, then it's pretty much perpendicular to Buena Vista Street. That's the property line right off that bound. So there's a marker out there. And then you can confirm whether the tree is in or out.
It looks like the tree line is inside.
Yeah, and the tree line may
wavy
be off by
line.
a few feet. It may be off by a few feet, but if you actually go out there and look and see, you'll know yes or no. But it looks to me like everything above, and I think that's to the north, assuming that we got, oh no, I guess that's east. On the upper portion of this picture, everything up there is going to be cut. So
Yeah.
if it's on the proponent's property, on the lot 1 property, the tree is going to be cut.
And there were some other trees down in this location down here that we didn't locate because they were off site. But there are other trees that are on the abutter's property also down in here. They weren't part of the kind of tree line. They were freestanding. So they're not part of that, but so there are other trees down in here.
Right, so I don't know if you can hear me. This is Ron Heckman.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Can hear you fine.
So I took a look at that. I couldn't find the concrete bound, but I know that it's about 15 feet from the center of that tree. And there's also a spray painted arrow, which I think is the lot line right there. And if that's so, it looks like those trees that Tom is concerned about are either on our lot line or very close or on his lot. I don't see that those trees would have to go. I mean, the last thing I want to do is cut trees anyways, but I don't see why we would have to even touch those trees. You know, I think those trees are fine. There's 4 or 5 of them in his backyard. So to me, that's not an issue at all.
And rather than trying to go back and forth talking, we can just locate them and show them on the plan, or just show that we can protect them if they're
I
part
mean,
of.
but you know, when we get to it, before any trees are cut, I mean, I would ribbon them all, and then anyone that wants to take a look and, say, oh my God, I can't live with that tree being cut, then we can address that at that point. But believe me, I want to leave trees as much, if not more, than anyone else here, because I love trees, period. End of story. And my intention is to disturb the land as little as possible. I'm gonna live there. I want as much buffer from everyone else, and I want everybody to be buffered from me. And I'm just gonna do the right thing. Whatever it
So
takes.
Ron, that was one of the questions I was going to ask next. You kind of answered it, which is great. And that was, is it possible to leave a reasonable barrier along that ridge separating lot 1 from those homes? It sounds like the answer there is yes.
Absolutely. Except for right where we have to excavate for the foundation, okay? That area right there, you know, any trees that are on our property are gonna have to go. But whatever, I'm gonna replace them. You know, it'll be smaller trees, but I'm gonna create a some type of a vegetated buffer zone right there. You can see where the house is gonna go, that end of the house, okay? Because it's so tight to the, you know, to the lot line, probably gonna have to take most of the trees there just at, you know, just to get the foundation in. But we're gonna replace them with some type of a vegetated buffer zone. Which to me will probably be as attractive, if not more attractive than what's there right now.
Thank you, Mr. Hackman.
Mhm.
Marianne, did that answer your questions or part of them?
Yes, yes.
Good. Let me see who else we have. We got some more hands raised here. Let me see. We've got Brittany Burns coming in. Brittany Burns.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you. Yes, welcome.
There we go. Hi. Hello.
Oh.
I have a question about the change of address on this project. I'm not sure if this is so much for the commission, but perhaps Mr. Heckman could answer. So originally this project was listed as 70 School Street, and you noted that the original entrance to this property was on School Street. One of the things that these plans has brought up and is somewhat of a dispute is that Buena Vista Drive and Greenland Circle are both listed as private ways, but ownership of those ways is contested and the towns have maintained those roads. So adding 2 driveways on here, I'm curious to hear if this is an issue that has come up or if you have done any discussions with zoning or planning board about that.
That'd be a better question for Vito to answer.
Okay.
Yep, so this, right now, the house does access off Buena Vista Drive, the existing one. And they do front, both lots do front on the drive. And they've always fronted on it since the drive was created. So with a private way, if you front on it, you have rights to the road itself. It was just that back before, I think it was prior to the road itself, this was the original driveway was over in this location.
Is there a plan then for construction trucks to enter and exit only on Buena Vista Drive and not to come down Greenland Circle?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why they would need to come down since the dead end. You know, you might have a random person that comes down to turn around. I know when I went out there, I did turn around down the end because I wanted to check it out from both sides.
Yeah.
But the construction traffic obviously comes in from school into the site and then back out to school.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You all set, Brittany?
I am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's see. I've got an Anna. That might be Anna Fontecchio, if I mispronounced that one also. Let's try bringing Anna in. Anna, are you with us? I don't see you. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, there it goes.
Unmuted, and there you are. Welcome.
Welcome. I had sent a letter to Vincent. I'm presuming that those questions and concerns have been seen by the other members.
Yes, he sent those out to all of us during the package for
Oh.
today.
Okay, great. So I have a couple of additional questions. Now, we have been talking about those trees and stuff. Is there any chance that Ron or somebody could maybe make an arrangement with the 3 or 4 houses along there and give us an idea of where it actually will be on our specific property? Like, I'd like to visualize where it is on, I'm at 10 Greenland Circle. Right there.
Yeah.
And also, do you notice that exactly where 10 is separated from 14 and 16, the driveway abuts a little bit further into, closer to our property? What's the reason? What is that? And what's the reason for that?
Right
Did
there,
it
that's
need-
just a turnout. So when you pull out of the garage, back out, you can turn around to get out.
Oh, okay, okay. Again, my biggest concern, and it sounds like everyone has taken that into consideration, the fact that we're all much lower than the proposed home. And it seems like you've done a lot of work in deciding where the water will be. So my biggest concern is water runoff and the water table in our area and stuff, because I know on Buena Vista Drive, if you guys have ever driven there, even on a dry day, there's always a puddle of water. So I'm concerned for that coming into our driveways and our homes. So I know you talked about it, but I guess I'm a lay person and don't understand. Has that been taken into consideration so that we don't need to be concerned about that?
Right, so the intent would be to have everything grade or drain away from these properties, all of them down here, especially the ones up by the house here. We wouldn't grade this in a way that would direct any lower runoff towards these houses down in here.
And is there any reason that to get anything to the proposed house that there would be anything that needs to go through our land? Any gas
No.
lines, whatever, utilities of some sort that need to go through our homes in any way, our land?
Nope, everything, so all the utilities are available out on the frontage down in Buena Vista. So nothing would impact or go over any of the property lines or anything like that. Water's out here, electricity are both out in the street.
Okay, thank you.
And I said earlier, I don't know if you were on earlier, but Mr. Heckman did say that he was willing to flag some of the trees along that property, along the edge there, once we get further along here to get an idea of what's going to stay.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yes, yeah, we'll flag all the trees, before, and then I can talk to any one of the abutters. Like I said, I'm gonna do the best I can to save as many trees as possible. I'd rather not cut any trees if I can.
You all set?
Yes, all set. Thank you.
Any other hands we have here up? I don't see any more hands. One more look here. No more hands. Okay, we can double check before we're done. Okay, Vinny, any questions you have? I know you're working with Vito. Would you say that you've got, well, he's answered half of your questions or less than half, more than half?
Well, right now he's said he's putting together plans to address all of them. So I'm just waiting to see what the plans show.
Okay. You haven't seen
Nothing is,
anything.
nothing's insurmountable. I think it's just a matter of tweaking it and making it work for the priorities that are in the land disturbance permit.
And Mr. Heckman certainly seems willing to minimize any disturbances and try and provide some support there for the abutters, which is good to hear. So, any more commission questions? Oh, I've got a hand up. No more. Todd saying no. Dan, you're good.
Nope, also,
Tom Beals, good. Okay, let me bring Mr. Gleason in here. Promote to panelist. Brian Gleason will be joining us. Any minute now. Mr. Gleason, you with us? No.
His name is coming up, but he's muted. There he is.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, Mr. Gleason. Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, I just want to thank you for hearing our concerns. And I'm at 22 Greenland Circle, which is next to Marianne. And I bought my home in 1999. And so I've been there a long time. And I like my privacy. So I'm concerned with the barrier. I want to make sure that I don't want to have to look up from my backyard and see little kids on the swing set on the home across the way there. So whatever you guys can do to provide some additional privacy, that would be great. And hoping maybe somebody can come out and walk with us along that barrier and just show us, because like I said, we're not quite sure. I have chairs out there, and I sit at the top of the hill, and I don't know if the hill's going to go away. So I'm just curious. But again, I just want to thank you guys. And do you have a timeline as to when this will be, when you'll start working on this, and when it will be completed?
Wow, it all depends on permitting. It
Okay.
could be, it's possible. I mean, if everything goes smoothly, maybe this summer I could start to put a foundation in. But you can call me. I'll come out and walk that with you anytime you'd like. I'm 5 minutes from
Oh,
your
you are?
house. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I live in Northborough, so
Okay.
I think. Do you need my cell phone number? I could give it to you right now. You got a
Yeah,
pencil?
sure. Yep.
It's 508-962-1385. And I
Five-
yeah,
508-962-1365, 1385. Okay.
correct. And I mean,
Yeah, I think what I'd like to know, kind of have a walkthrough, because as you can understand from our concerns, we're not quite sure where our land ends and where it's going to start.
actually, I don't think any trees are going to be disturbed behind your house.
Oh,
The
really?
only thing- I don't think so, but we can walk there. The only thing I might do is cut some dead trees down behind your house and maybe limb up some of the pines behind there 8 to 9 feet, so that it's, the dead stuff is cleaned up a little bit. But I
Okay.
can walk through it anytime you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll give you a call. Yeah, it's, springtime.
Yeah, anytime,
Okay.
I'm
That's
over
all I
there
had.
I'm over there almost every day. So
Oh, you are? Well, I work from home. Maybe I'll look for you.
yeah, okay, great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Mr. Ecker, that's great. Of course, you do realize that we're on YouTube TV tonight, so you've given your cell phone number to tens of thousands.
Oh,
I don't care. Everybody knows my number anyways. Whatever. I've been in Northborough 45 years, and so it is what it is.
So,
Call me up.
all right. Thank you, Ron.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gleason.
It's great that you're working with us.
Yeah.
And I think this whole thing has made us feel a lot better. It's made me feel better. Knowing that you're willing to work with us and hear our concerns. And like I said, I've been there a long time, and
Good.
you'd be curious.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about traffic. When the trucks and such start, will be a lot of traffic on Buena Vista and Greenland. You probably have
We
no
hope-
idea, right?
We hope. I mean, one house will be built at a time, so it's not like
About
both
one.
houses will be built at the same time. And we can control and contain the traffic. And I mean, all I have to do is tell them not to go beyond, turn around in the construction site, or maybe before you get to Greenland Circle, turn around and don't
Okay.
go down Greenland Circle to disturb disturb the residents down there. So
Okay, yeah, what about, as far as when you're doing the work, do you have a time when that would be? Like, I don't know what the town rules are, as far as you have to start like 8 o'clock or later, or 7:30 or weekends?
typically, 7 to 3:30, 5 days a week. Sometimes, a lot of residential contractors don't start till like maybe 8 o'clock, but
Yeah,
I would say
7's early.
7 to 3:30.
7's
Yeah.
early.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Most
That's all I had.
probably won't start that early, but
I hope not.
You all set, Mr. Gleason? You good?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay. I don't see any more hands up going through the list there. Commission is in pretty good shape. So we are looking to continue this to the March meeting, correct? You're good with that, Vito, right? Mr. Burns, you're good with that?
Yep.
Mr. Heckman?
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
So we need
Yeah.
a motion to continue the notice of intent for lot 1 and lot 2 Buena Vista.
So
Excuse me.
moved. Oh,
Yep. No, that sounds good. We have to give a date and so are people available? We sure we're gonna have at least this for the Monday, March 13th, and possibly check to see if our Zoom host is sure or available.
yes.
I'm on vacation that week. I won't be around.
So we need Dan here because we only have only the 4 members that are here today can vote.
Yeah.
That's the quorum.
So that week you're out. Okay.
I'm out that week. Yeah, the week before, the week after, and the week after that, any of those other weeks are fine.
Yeah, we don't want to continue 2 months for them, right? Vito and Mr. Heckman?
We would
probably
rather
prefer-
not,
They
but
prefer not.
if there's nothing we can do, because yeah, you don't do the Mullen, right? Northborough doesn't.
No,
No.
authorizes people to watch the video.
Yeah, we
That's
Vinny and
hasn't
I had
been
the
voted by the
conversation
team.
earlier today. We don't, Northwood does not have that. So. Why don't you and I noodle on some dates and we'll send some emails out and see if we can settle on something.
Okay, yeah, so you can
Um,
continue it to the March, and then if there's not going to be a quorum, we'll just continue it to the whatever the next available one is. And if you have one sooner or later, then we'll get on it. There's not much we can do, so.
There we go.
Okay, I'm just looking at the March, oh, it just went away. So if we do the following week, that's March 19th.
20th.
Yeah, 20th is the Monday,
It works for me.
Works for me.
and I'm checking to see if and it looks like, oh, is there a holiday? There's nothing scheduled on the town's
March.
conference room calendar, so
Not March 20th.
that's not one of those President's Day or,
That's in February, and St. Patty's Day is the 17th. I don't think that's a national holiday.
no, you're right. So maybe the 20th?
me.
Todd's good. Tom Beal,
I
you
hate-
good for the 20th?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the 20th should be fine.
I hate to do this. I have a work meeting on the 20th. Apologize. Clearly, I'm the problem here. I can see that.
There seems to be a problem.
The answer to the problem tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
So the 23rd is
Yeah, any
available.
other day that week's fine. I have
Thursday, the 23rd is open.
That's
I don't
fine.
see The other meetings.
Good
That's
for me.
fine.
Good for me too.
Because when we continue, we need to continue to a date.
Mhm.
Let's continue with the 23rd if that works for everybody on the call here.
Okay.
That's the motion.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I will second that motion for March 23rd meeting.
And we'll start the voting with Dan Clark for obvious reasons.
Yes, yes.
Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Tom Beals,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Continued to 3:23.
All right. Well, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Vito.
All
Thank
right,
you,
thank
Mr.
you.
Heckman.
Thank you.
Okay. That is it for public meetings, correct?
Yes.
All right, let's see what else do we have here. Informal discussion. West Street, Mr. Knox. Has he come back to you with anything, Vinny? I know he was he looking at the Bigelow lease agreement?
Yeah, we looked at the Bigelow lease agreement and we reworded that, and the rewording I sent out to the commission, looking for feedback on it. The sticking points that might be there are that he wants to use the property still for parking vehicles and storing equipment, whereas the Bigelow one didn't allow that. And it's conservation land, so I wasn't sure if that's going to nix the idea. If he can't park vehicles or store equipment, I'm not sure he will want to do the whole thing. I know he's got some gardens, some fruit trees, and that would probably comply with the same standard as the Bigelow lease. But I'm new to the town and I'm just trying to get your feel on what you think would be acceptable for a use on conservation land.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
it's
not
already
concerned
being
by-
used.
All right, Mr. Beals, why don't you go ahead first?
Sorry. I guess it's already been in use right along. I think we just need to put a quantity. I don't see why we can't have vehicles parked there. We just need to put a limit, whether it's 4 or 5, trucks and trailer combinations or what have you, and limit the space for storage. So just quantify it as, a 200 by 200 foot area, or I'm not sure what the dimensions are there, but I think
Right.
we just quantify that. Would be fine.
Todd, you saying something? You have something to say?
Yeah, a couple things. Number one, and I agree with what Tom just said. Whatever they're doing now, they can do under the lease, right? That's sort of the idea. We're not beholden to whatever that other document was. I was just looking, when you say you sent it to us, did you put it in the Dropbox or did you send it some other way?
I think it's in the Dropbox, and I thought I sent it in an email as an attachment.
If you send it to me, I will take a look at it, but there's not a
Okay.
big history here. I just can't look, I can't open the Dropbox because our security reasons, I'm not allowed to go into the Dropbox.
Okay.
I don't see an email, but maybe I missed it.
Okay.
I guess I actually disagree, sort of in principle. I'm not sure why we would accommodate a private landowner to use conservation land for his own public gain. It doesn't seem to make any sense to me, regardless of the history of the site. The only reason we have the history of the site is we weren't aware of it. Now we are aware of it. Seems a little, first of all, I think it sets a bad precedent that you can use conservation land for your own good. And I'm not sure it's appropriate to store vehicles and equipment on conservation land. So I have to disagree.
Fair enough. I've already said I'm recusing myself from this vote because of a business relationship with Mr. Knox. But I mean, I can kind of see both ways a bit, where it has been done for 20 years or 15 years, something like that. But it does set a pretty dangerous precedent too. If we allow this, what happens to the next person coming in that wants to do something? Wants to put up a
My thought is it was probably a mistake when they drew the lines originally. I don't feel like this was malicious. And so that's why I'm not, we kind of were limiting it to this person as long as he was operating there, not that it was going to be transferred to somebody else. If it became a problem, we can revoke the lease. I mean, I get it, but if it's not exactly a precedent setting thing. If we find somebody else who's been using the property for 20 years without doing any damage, I'd probably have the same answer. You know, we have cars parking on conservation land now, right? And wherever we have parking lots, of which we have several. So that's not.
Yep.
But you're not wrong, Dan. You're not wrong.
Well, certainly I think we want to get the full commissions on this before we make any determinations, Vinny. So,
Okay.
you know, we get a chance to review that and we'll just talk about that next. This is an informal discussion, so we'll talk about that next time through. Forestry management plan status. I know that there's been a lot of work done by Dan and Tom, and thank you for that. And there's been some meetings up on Edmund Hill. Any update on that, where we are? I know, Vin, you did send out the RFP, right? Or at least to us, you internally circulated.
Yeah, it's a request for to hire a forester to come up with the plan of what is going to be proposed.
Right.
So this wasn't on the agenda because we don't really have a plan of what is going to happen. We're just looking at the process now, and we're trying to hire someone who will prepare the plan. And we've got a draft of the scope of work that's needed, and a list of some foresters to send it out directly to. And so then we're just going to wait and find someone at that point. Once we hire a forester, they will start and prepare a draft forest cutting plan. Then we'll have public hearings on that. And this is what you had suggested. That was the idea of having a public hearing, as well as having a field site walk at the location to review it with the forester and with people involved with the commission. And then we make edits or amendments as needed to the draft plan. And then we would put out to bid the logging operation to take down. And the work is for, I'm not sure if people are aware, all the commission is aware of it, but for the public, this is to take down some dead trees. There are a lot of standing dead trees that are a danger. And there are also a lot of invasive plants coming into this property. So the work here is proposed to cut down to clear the dead and dying trees, as well as take out the invasive plants that are crawling over some good healthy trees. But once like the bittersweet really it chokes them off. So it's difficult to try to take some of just the bittersweet out and save the tree. Sometimes some of the trees will have to go when they're associated with the invasives. But that's what someone who actually knows what they're talking about when they prepare the forest cutting plan will have that in the proposal. But that's where we stand right now as an update.
Good. And we talked a little bit today about the funding. I think we need to make sure we nail that funding down soon, because if there's no money, we're kind of dead in the water.
Yes, it would. I was told it would come from the same source where we got the forest management plan funding, and there is money in the budget for it.
Good. Okay. All right. Okay, that's that. Certificates of compliance. Hudson Street Peppers. So they're not quite there yet, huh?
They actually delivered the as-built and a certification. I think it was at 3:00 today. So they're okay.
All right. And what about Lawrence Street?
86 Lawrence Street, they were all set a while ago. This was, I don't know how much information the commission wants. This was a site where there was an old debris pile out in the area. Are people familiar with 86 Lawrence Street? It's an open lot. What's the company that's out there? Castle something or other, Castle Materials, Building Materials.
Yes, I think you're right, Castle.
And they have a big open area in the back. And I think, what was the year on this one? Yeah, from 2000. Back in 2000, they got a a violation notice for having debris piles within 100 feet of the wetlands. Since that time, and then they had to come into the commission, do a notice of intent, and they have an order of conditions. Since that time, they filed another notice of intent to put in stormwater basins out there. So on top of clearing up all the debris that was there, they've constructed 3 large stormwater basins out on the property where all the debris was in the first place. And so they've definitely cleaned up the area. It's a mowed field, looks very nice. And all the work that was associated with that original 2000 debris stuff has been cleared out. And so I would recommend issuing a COC on this one.
Lars.
If you want to see a picture, I took a picture of it. If I can, where am I? 86 Lawrence. Nothing fancy. This is the area. The wetlands are all along. Basically, the wetlands surround this site. And there's probably 5 times as much more land behind me. But this was the area where the debris pile was. They've cleared and taken some of the debris out of the stormwater basin doing maintenance. And a lot of this is Phragmites. And it's a pile of like debris of brush from branches that have fallen. They do a nice job keeping this area clean. They're not going back into the wetland areas at all. So I think they're doing a good job out there, and they are clearing the title on this because they're going to be coming in with a proposal for development on this site in the next couple of months. They're still working on it.
Okay.
What about Goddard Road? There's 2 Goddard Roads on here.
Yes, we've got Goddard Road, which is actually the road itself. So that was 1983 was the order of conditions. So that was for the town and New England Power and someone else that owned the property where they built the road. So it's an actual town road that was accepted at town meeting in 1986. 5 Goddard Road has been developed. When they were doing the title search, title research, they found an old outstanding order of conditions for Goddard Road. So this will be to just clear the title, but the work has been done and everything looks good in the road part of the project.
Okay. How about the contractor yard? That looks pretty good too.
The contractor. Oh, this is 5 Goddard. Is that the one you're talking about? I think that's.
Yes.
They put a basin in and.
Yep. So this is, in the photo, this is 5 Goddard Road. The building, the parking and the building are up here. The wetlands are just over the edge down there. And they put in this stormwater basin. Looks very nice. Overflow spillway goes into the wetland. There's a runoff from that end of the pavement, comes down into there. The stormwater treatment system is in here. It discharges to this forebay, and then it flows into this infiltration basin. And if it doesn't infiltrate, we get a lot of rain, it will fill up and then go over the weir. But generally, it functions. It functions to infiltrate the water most of the time on the smaller storms. And that looked like everything was stable. Everything looked good. Got a couple of ornamental trees and buffers and looked nice.
Yeah, good. Okay, so we're good with all 4 then, Vinny, huh?
I am, yes.
Okay. We need a very complicated motion here if we want to do all at once.
I would move to issue certificates of compliance for 43 Hudson Street, 86 Lawrence Street, Goddard Road, and 5 Goddard Road.
Second.
Second by Tom Beals. Roll call. Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Dan Clark,
Yes.
Tom Beals,
Yes.
and I vote yes. All right, good. Let's see, what else do we have here? What about violation, Sunset Drive, Mr. Kane? Hopefully we can get this off the agenda going forward.
Yes, we can. That's why I just wanted to report. He had a pile of a lot of years worth of accumulated trash and things that were in the wetlands and in the buffer zone on his property. And he hired a company, a landscaper company and a cleanup company to come in to pull it all up the slope. It's like a 30-foot high slope. And he had a pile at the last meeting. I showed a picture of a pile sitting there. And now that pile is gone. So the area's been cleaned up and it's resolved.
That one, huh?
Good.
Your notes, Vinny, said there's still a couple of pieces of garbage, like concrete and a propane
There is a
tank or
couple of,
something.
yes, there's a couple of things way down in the wetland. It was a footing, a concrete footing for an old clothesline. So it's probably 15 to 18 inch diameter, 18-inch deep concrete with rocks and stuff. It's a couple 100 pounds, and I don't see any reason why it's not going to cause any environmental damage down there. And I didn't push to have him carry it up the hill.
Couldn't lift that and drag it out.
I wasn't going to help him, so I didn't want to force it.
Yeah.
And then
That's
there's
true.
also an old propane tank it's old and rusted. It's buried. All you can see is the dome of the tank, and it's buried in the mud. The guys said they tried to pull it, but it wasn't going anywhere, and there's no
Yeah.
way to bring a machine down there.
All right, I was just curious.
Good. All right. Correspondence. Oh, before, just a heads up. I attended the planning board meeting. I listened to and we may be seeing something coming to us here on Zero. Trying to think what the name of the street is. If you go down
Bartlett.
Crawford Street, right before you get to the end there's a street that goes off to your left, goes into Shrewsbury.
West
Yeah.
Street.
Oh, that one.
Reservoir Street.
So I know I'm new here.
Reservoir.
Reservoir is down off of that far end of Crawford Street. Yeah.
Way down. Yep. So as you go down that Crawford Street, on your left, there's an old house sitting there, sits right in the pond there. It comes
Yeah.
through. That whole area is going to be developed up. It's got an address, which is 0 Reservoir Street, I believe, but they're looking to dice it up into 3 or 4 house lots. So we'll see that coming to us. That's just a heads up. Let's see what else. Anybody have anything they want to bring up? Nobody in your areas has nobody's doing anything with backhoes or anything like that, which is good. MAC annual conference, course selections due. It's virtual this year, so there's money in the budget, I'm told.
Yes, there is. And if people are interested, let me know. If you're not able to do it, not really interested, let me know that too, just so I can scratch you off the list. Dan has sent me something. He's interested in a couple of good ones. I'm probably going to take 1 or 2. And I think that was all that I've gotten for responses. And Kelly can't make it.
You can take me off the list.
Okay.
Well, now Mia is presenting one of those seminars. You just go to that to give her hard questions to answer if you want to do that.
Yes, she's doing how to map a wetland without leaving your chair. That might be an interesting one. But it's all the new mapping, the new biosphere, or the bio something or other that the wildlife folks came up with. But there's some better mapping options that are out there that she's going to show how to use.
Got to get on the field. Can't do it from your office. Come on.
That's right. I'm not planning on going to that one. I want to get out of the office. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy. Okay. Anything else, Vinny?
Nope. I think that's it. This is great.
Good. Also tonight, we have a new support person. Owen Jones has joined us. He is the new Zoom support person the town's hired. So Jim DiGiulio
Great.
is kind of transitioning out. Owen's transitioning in, and we've got that person there. So
Yeah.
All right. I think we're good. I'm looking here at my list, and I think we covered everything.
So our next meeting is March 23rd.
Oh, one more we didn't
That's-
cover. I'm sorry, one didn't cover. Lincoln Street Schools moving forward.
Oh, right.
Right.
I got a picture of that one, I think, somewhere.
We'll do a quick picture. Vinny's been working closely with the teacher sponsoring that activity over there, so.
All right, let me get that.
What's it called? A walking book park or something?
It's a, they have a story walk as well as an outdoor learning center. All right. Oh, boy, this is confusing with all these screens. So this is a Lincoln School. Lincoln Street is off to the left side in the picture. This is when you drive all the way down, drop off at the end of the building. Obviously, you can see the basketball court. The baseball field is off to the right here.
You read down a
And-
bit, Vinny? Show us some more.
Yep. And so
Yep.
the story walk itself is going to come out the back of the building up here and go around and down the edge of it's an emergency driveway. So there's not going to be kids in the street, but it's just an emergency access. So it's a good spot for handicap accessibility. We don't have to worry about paving it. It's already paved and it's accessible. So they're going to have the posts on stands along that curb. And then there's also associated with it is this learning space. Right now, it's just a field, a grassed area, and it goes down into a water quality swale for the stormwater basin that was built and rebuilt, I heard a couple of times a few years ago. And what it is just a stone dust area with a buffer of some new vegetation on one side so that when the cars come in and cars come down here, they retain a bit of privacy in this outdoor learning center. And it is a view out, and the wetland is actually the wetlands down in this area here. So it's got a lot of birds. I guess there was a scout project in town that did some bird identification and bird information in this area. So they're going to try to piggyback on that and just make it an open outdoor space. They're proposing to put in a couple of deciduous trees so they get a little shade when it gets a little warmer someday. But it's a simple design of just a place where a teacher can take the kids outside in nice weather, or the counselor can take kids out along the story walk or out to this space and just give them an easier place to discuss things instead of an official room.
Super,
Nice.
super. Good job. Good. Thanks, Vinny.
You're welcome.
All right. Anything else, Vinny? Your side? We got it covered?
No, I think you're covering it all. You're reminding me of everything I'm forgetting. It's awesome.
I think we're good. All right. And let's motion to adjourn until the 23rd of March.
So moved.
Second,
By Tom Beals, roll call. Todd Helwig,
Yes.
Dan Clark,
Yes.
Tom Beals.
yes.
And I vote yes. Super.
All
Thank
right,
you to
excellent.
thank you to Mr. Jones. Thank you, Owen.
Yeah, nice job.
Good job.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. DiGiulio, as usual. And we will